M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
Hi, it's Josh from Under the Table Hot Sauce. I'm here with my friend, the star of the show, Jimmy Farrow.
Yeah, what's up, JB?
Nah, nothing.
It's been a hot summer, and for all your barbecue needs, you can go to underthetablehotsauce.com. 13 unique flavors to choose from, created and bottled in a Long Island kitchen. Underthetablehotsauce.com. Let's go chow, JB.
Let's do it.
All the flavor, twice the burn.
You sound
Sal, when Sika lost his son, Rosey, how did that affect him? Did you talk to him about that situation?
I don't remember if we had any specific conversations about it, but I liked Matt. He was a good guy. I don't know. Did I send you the picture of us all tagging together?
I don't think so. I'll check.
I'll send you that here in a minute. But Matt was a really good guy. And look, my parents lost a daughter. I lost my sister here July 29th. I believe it'll be 3 years. I don't think parents get over that. It's people ask me about it, and I don't think parents get over that. Now, the way people handle that and the way they mourn is different, but ultimately, parents shouldn't be burying children. So I don't know how he took it. These guys seem to take everything much easier than the average person does. But what's going on in their own thoughts, I can't tell you. But I'm sure it was not good. I mean, just experiencing with my own parents. These are things that nobody's sitting around waiting to happen, right? Children are supposed to be waiting for their parents to pass, not the other way around.
Now you mentioned they seem to take it a little better. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think that?
Well, look, let's face it. They didn't have the simplest life in the world. Growing up younger, they came up the hard way. And, I don't know. They just, what? They're just tough, plain and simple. They're tough people. I don't know how you explain it. I really don't. But they're extremely, extremely tough people. And, I guess when you have a life like that, you have a tough life, you can probably hide things better. You know what I mean? Because I'm sorry, I just don't know that any parent, the way they display it to us is one thing. But, what they're feeling about it inside, I mean, look, these guys are normal people, right? I mean, they may be performers and they may have been very unique performers. But when it's all said and done, these guys, are people like everybody else. As a parent lost a son, I can't say. And look, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not the guy who needs to be discussing that with people because I don't know what to say. Because no matter what you say, it's either routine or, maybe it's the wrong thing because you just don't know. Now, I'll listen if they want to talk, but you either just make some statement out of common courtesy or not. I mean, Matt was a big guy and, I probably tied in, but, I really liked him. He was a great guy, man. You want to talk about a gentle giant. He was it.
Well, on a positive note then, how did he feel about his son, Roman Reigns, who certainly was on his way to becoming a pro football player before, unfortunately, he was stricken down with leukemia, but obviously bounced back to become one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But did he ever relay to you how he felt about how proud he was of his son?
I would talk to the family more. I hadn't been able to have conversations with Sika here for a while. But there's no question he's proud of his son. I mean, his son is doing fantastic. And obviously, yes, quite honestly, Rocky Johnson, when I talked about The Rock when he was younger, neither one of these guys, I'm sure, wanted their son to be in wrestling. But first of all, they were judging wrestling based on the business that they were in. If you'd have told these guys that both of their kids were going to grow up, end up being multimillionaires, be performing all over the world on a regular basis, the kind of television exposure they'd have, they might have had a different opinion. But when I said to, Dwayne was just a little guy when I started coming around. And, I said, Rock, one day we got to get the kid in the business. Not my son. My son's going to play football. Well, I mean, his career has so far eclipsed anything that would have happened if he made it. He says sometimes, our Warren Sapp got in his way, The Rock. Well, you know what? Warren Sapp probably did him a favor. Yeah, how many of the guys that wrestled started out in football didn't really make it? They had to come back to wrestling anyway. But I don't think either one of these guys wanted their kids to be in the wrestling business. Football was the intention. That's where they wanted him to go. But luckily, fate intervened. And, The Rock is obviously a major star. Roman Reigns is a major, major star. He's able to work even with the physical challenges he has. He looks like $1 million. And who knows, maybe Hollywood will be next for him. But, they've really done some great things. And he's a company guy, and he can be relied on. And that's important, too. It's one of the most important things in this business. When they gave the Honky Tonk Man the Intercontinental Belt, they just said one thing: take it and run with it. They're not really, in those days, weren't looking for time off and any of that. It's like, hey, we're in towns every day. We need you there. That's the best.
Sal, it sounds like you were closer to Alpha. Did you stay in touch with Alpha over the years on a consistent basis? Either of the two?
With Alpha all the time, yes. With Sika, not as not as much. We'd see each other at things, and of course, for several years, you see them a lot. But when he was at home, I didn't see him as much. Now we crossed paths in some events, and I think I worked with I did. I worked with him and Lanny Poffo. Now that I think about it, in New York, and so forth. And then I would bring them in for shows. I brought them in '97. I brought them in for a big outdoor show I had to work with. I don't even remember who we worked with, actually. It was me and the Samoans and the Disco Inferno and Gene Ligon. We had a 10-man tag with some guys, probably Gorgeous Gary Royal and the Love Connection and a couple other guys. I don't know. But yeah, Alpha was more of the business side of the business. And, that was really where my head was at. Plus, Alpha was more located closer to me. Where Sika was always down there in Pensacola. Well, I'd only been to Pensacola. Now I was there. I went to Pensacola and we went out with, it was Rikishi's mom's birthday. And we all went out to a big thing. The Usos, they were like, I don't know, 8 or 9-year-old twins at the time, just running around. Of course, nobody had any idea where they were going in life at that point. But they were there. We went out to this big dinner in Pensacola. But Pensacola wasn't a regular stop for me. If it had been, I would have seen Sika a lot more, probably. But Alpha was always living in Pennsylvania and running shows and et cetera. So, more of the business side of the business was done with Alpha.
Sal, where do the Samoans